Hi. For the past 100 days, I've taken a photo every day, which is about as crazy as it sounds.
The whole point of this challenge is to learn to take photos of mundane, everyday things that wouldn't be considered the most interesting subjects normally. It gets you to notice small things, like light or colour, rather than relying on landscapes, though I have a few of them too.
There's a few photos in there that I actually was pleasantly surprised with, so enjoy.
Not all 100 photos are in this video. I thought some of them just didn't quite fit, but I posted week by week on my Insta and my TikTok if you wanted to check them out. There's definitely a difference from when I started this challenge and when I ended. Just doing it has already improved my photography, which is really great.
There's this account on Instagram that I follow called jamtuna. I'll link it in the description below, but he does a bunch of photography work with light and light trails and motion blur and all of that, and I really like a lot of his work. And one thing about taking a photo every day for 100 days is that you have plenty of time to experiment and try a bunch of new stuff that you've never tried before. So there's a few photos that I took that I tried to kind of replicate a little bit of what he did. And this one in particular is probably my favorite.
I've had a couple attempts of this tracking shot, which is basically where you move your camera at the same speed as the subject and you get this motion in the background and hopefully the subject is in focus. But it's very hit or miss and I was actually not expecting it to work, but I'm glad that it did. I put it in black and white because I think it actually makes the biker pop out of the background more. He has this contrast of the dark bike and then the sky above him is very blown out, and I think it's really cool. I get a nostalgic feeling from this one. The lighting was soft enough for the colors when I shot it. I added some grain and turned down the clarity in editing, and it turned out really nice. Same feeling from this one. I really like the shadows on the clouds. It makes it look 3D in a way.
Something else that I've tried in these 100 days is macro photography. And I actually have this macro lens. It's 24mm for my Canon camera. And I've actually taken some pretty decent macro photos.
Definitely my favorite one is this one. It was actually really early on in the challenge too, day 8, I think. My first attempt was the best. I think after finishing this, I've actually gotten a greater appreciation for my city. And if you have any kind of creative outlet, I'd highly recommend trying something like this. Probably not jumping into 100 days straight away, maybe trialing a week or a month instead.
Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you have a favourite of any of these photos, please leave a comment down below. I'd love to know. And I'll also leave my social media links in the description if you wanted to follow along with anything I'm doing in the future. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. See you next time.